Hey there, O'Grady here. Today, I'm diving into a topic that's been buzzing around the retirement community for years. The 4% rule. Yeah, what is it? How do you calculate it? Why do I even care? And don't let the word rule scare you off. It's not some strict law you have to follow, but a helpful guideline. Guideline that might just make your retirement planning a whole lot easier. So what is this 4% rule, you say? All right, let's break it down. It's a simple strategy to help you figure out how much money you can safely withdraw from your retirement savings every year without running out of money before you run out. You run out of heartbeats. Here's how it works. In your first year of retirement, you withdraw 4% of your total retirement savings. Yeah, 4% rule, withdraw 4%. Then in the following years, you adjust that amount for inflation. The idea is that this approach should give you a steady income stream that lasts for at least 30 years. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 30 years? Am I going to live that long? That's a long time, especially once I retire. Well, yeah, you might have a point there, but remember, many of us are living longer, eating healthier, working out, staying in shape, staying fit, so you might live beyond 30 extra years. It's better to plan for too many years than too few, I think. All right, where did this thing start, the 4% rule? Who came up with this rule anyway? Well, it wasn't the government in this case or some Wall Street hotshot. Actually, a tie to Wall Street. It was developed by a financial advisor named William Bengen back in 1994. He crunched the numbers on historical stock and bond returns and found that even during some of the worst economic times, a portfolio with 50% stocks and 50% bonds could support a 4% withdrawal rate for at least 30 years. How does it work in practice? All right, here's a real-world example to make it a bit clearer. We're going to say you've saved $1 million for retirement. Maybe you've saved more, maybe not quite that much, but it's an example. It's easy to work with that, with $1 million as far as the numbers go. So, according to the 4% rule, you could withdraw 4%, which would be what? $40,000 on $1 million. That's the 4%. Now, let's say inflation that year is 2%. That would be nice, right? In your second year, you'd increase your withdrawal to $40,800 to keep up with the rising costs. And you'd continue this pattern year after year, adjusting for inflation each time. So here are the pros of the 4% rule. It's simple. One of the best things about the 4% rule is how easy it is to understand and apply. No complex calculations or fancy software required. You don't have to pull out your HP 12C. And peace of mind. If you've got a plan, you feel better, right? Knowing you have a plan in place can ease those worries about running out of money in retirement. And it is flexible. While it's called a rule, it's more of a guideline or suggestion. You can always adjust your withdrawals based on your actual expenses and real market performance. You can make it a 4.5% rule or even a 5% rule if you want. The cons and the criticisms of the 4% rule. Remember, there's always the opposing view or the downsides, and that would be market volatility. If the market is rougher than usual, because this rule assumes a relatively stable market. But as we know, the market can be about as predictable as, well, Florida weather. Thunderstorms in the afternoon every summer or every day in the summer. And inflation concerns, yeah, 2%. Give me that, but that's not real or real life. Some critics argue that the rule doesn't adequately account for periods of high inflation and a retirement or a change in your retirement landscape. People are living longer, facing different economic conditions than when the rule was first developed. Yeah, the good old days of the 90s. So is the 4% rule right for you? Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. Should you use the 4% rule for your retirement planning? Well, like most things in personal finance, the answer is It depends. The 4% rule can be a great starting point, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. If you're nearing retirement, it might be worth sitting down with a financial advisor or planner to create a personalized withdrawal strategy. They can take into account your specific situation, including your health, your lifestyle, other sources of income like Social Security, or maybe you're fortunate and still have a pension that will be coming in. And what do you do if you haven't saved enough? Yeah, I know you're thinking, that was a great example, but I don't have $1 million. Well, don't panic. There are some options. Put off retiring, delay it, work a few extra years, and you can significantly boost your savings. Or go the other way and just cut back on expenses. Look for ways to cut costs in retirement without sacrificing your quality of life. Or consider part-time work. A little extra can go a long way in stretching your savings. And explore some Social Security options or strategies. Delaying your Social Security benefits can increase your monthly payments. Remember, this 4% rule is just one tool in your retirement planning toolbox. The key is to start planning early, save early and consistently, and be willing to adjust your strategy as you need to. The 4% rule, it's not perfect, but it can be a helpful guideline, a rule of thumb as you plan for those later years. Just remember, the best retirement plan is one that's tailored to your unique situation and your unique goals. It's never too late to start planning for a comfortable retirement, but it is better the earlier you do start. So get started now. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode.